What do you worship?
Well, I don't really worship anything, but I do devote myself to the advancement of humanity using technology.
Do you pray?
I don't. I didn't even pray when I almost died of malaria.
Well, so, while I'm not a particularly religious person, I do believe that the teachings of Jesus are good. I'm actually a big believer in the principles of Christianity. I think they're very good. Right. I would say I'm probably a cultural Christian.
Okay. So
I was brought up as an Anglican, and I was baptized.
Elon Musk is always focused on technology, innovation, and exploring space. A visionary with no room for the idea of a creator. But then, out of nowhere, something incredible happened. It all happened in the most unexpected place. A small, quiet church in Las Vegas. When Musk walked out of that church, he wasn't the same man who walked in. What miracle could bring the richest man in the world to his knees? From space exploration to spiritual exploration, what's driving Elon Musk's unexpected journey towards the divine? The trend is the same everywhere. Children are brought up in church pews, learning Bible verses and singing hymns. But as the years pass, they start to lose their faith. This story is not limited to ordinary lives. It also extends to the extraordinary, such as Elon Musk, the richest man in the world. Elon's childhood was similar to many others. He grew up with church bells ringing in his ears and sermons shaping his Sundays. However, when the demands of adulthood, reason, and science became stronger, faith seemed to slip through his fingers. Then something unexpected happened at a small church that shook Elon Musk's beliefs to the core. People who were there described it as a silent but impactful moment, a meeting point of divine intervention and introspective questions. What happened next left everyone absolutely stunned. Elon Musk, the billionaire entrepreneur who had previously appeared to be disconnected from his religious beliefs, has publicly acknowledged his belief in God and declared himself to be a Christian. Elon Musk's connection with religion has always been a complicated one, intertwined with moments of revelation, doubt, and the influence of a changing world. He was born into a comparatively affluent South African family, and his early years were marked by both privilege and difficulties. His father, Elon Musk, achieved success as a mechanical engineer, pilot, and sailor, while his mother, May Musk, flourished as a well-known model and dietitian. Elon's childhood was anything but ordinary from the start. Soon after his birth, Elon was baptized and brought up as an Anglican. However, religion was more of a habit than a calling for young Elon. Sunday school sessions were like any other task, something to be completed, another box to check. Still, he learned the fundamentals of Christian teachings, became familiar with the well-known biblical stories, and occasionally enjoyed the companionship of his peers. However, Elon was exposed to faith in other ways too. Life threw him into a cultural and religious melting pot. Due to the Jewish partners in his father's engineering firm, Elon found himself going to a Jewish preschool during the week while attending the Anglican church on Sundays. This blending of religious influences expanded his horizons instead of strengthening his beliefs. Elon saw religion as a riddle with no clear solution, centered more on personal interpretations than on absolute truths. However, this early exposure to diverse perspectives sparked curiosity in his mind, driving him to seek answers. Elon immersed himself in books, transforming into the ultimate nerd. His photographic memory allowed him to remember nearly everything he read in encyclopedias. However, Elon's quest for knowledge wasn't just about facts and figures. It was about finding purpose. Beneath his encyclopedic exterior, a little boy was struggling with the most important question in life. What's the point? At the tender age of 11 or 12, Elon faced an existential crisis that would shape the course of his life. It all started with the nagging sense that existence felt pointless. Elon's insatiable curiosity drove him to seek solace in religion. Imagine Elon, a preteen, flipping through the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, and even Hindu writings in an attempt to understand ancient wisdom. However, every page seemed to pose more queries than it answered. Frustrated, he turned to the writings of philosophers like Nietzsche and Schopenhauer for comfort. But their frequently gloomy and depressing views only made his problem worse. Then, an unlikely savior, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, made all the difference. Elon gained a new perspective from Douglas Adams' humorous story on the pursuit of life's purpose. The famous answer, 42, wasn't the solution. Rather, it was the recognition that we aren't even sure what questions to ask. For Elon, this was revolutionary. What if the path to understanding was far more important than the final destination? His obsession with facts made him a bit of a know-it-all, which helped pave the way for his eventual success, even if it didn't gain him many friends. During this time, the concept of religion made no sense to Elon. His entire life seemed to prove there was no God. He found it disgusting that a powerful being could have intervened to ease his life but declined to do so. To make matters worse, he was frequently bullied for being the quiet, skinny child with a reserved nature. Growing up in the outgoing and charismatic culture of South Africa only made things harder. Tired of the constant hate and abuse, Elon made the difficult decision: no matter what, he was going to succeed. His strategy was simple: work harder than anyone else, prove his worth to the world, and force everyone to recognize him. With no God, no father, and no friends, Elon was on a mission to make a name for himself, and he wasn't going to stop until he did. And guess what? He made it happen. He co-founded Zip2, a digital city guide that became a gold mine after Compaq purchased it in 1999 for more than $300 million. Surprised? Hold on. This is just the beginning. In 2002, Elon founded SpaceX, aiming to colonize Mars, and joined Tesla in 2004, revolutionizing electric vehicles. But that's not all. He co-founded SolarCity to push renewable energy and later acquired it through Tesla to supercharge sustainable innovation. And then there's his venture into AI. But here's the most astonishing part. Tesla's market value soared over $100 billion in 2020. It's safe to say Elon wasn't slowing down anytime soon, right? Yet life often takes unexpected turns. What's next for the man who seems unstoppable? Stay tuned, because the future is anything but ordinary. Elon's story is one of unshakable ambition, groundbreaking invention, and jaw-dropping success, but it's not without its twists and turns. Despite all of this success, Elon couldn't help but observe something fascinating. Despite their financial difficulties, Christians who kept modest, quiet lives appeared to be truly fulfilled. He was still unable to accept religion, even though he admired their unwavering devotion and faith. He saw faith as a support system that people used in difficult times. It was beneficial to some, but not to him. After all, he was the richest man in the world. But shortly after, things started to fall apart. The stock of Tesla dropped. Meanwhile, Elon's controversial tweets damaged his reputation. When Twitter's owners started to push back against his antics, Elon didn't hold back. He announced he was planning to buy the platform. At first, people thought it was a joke, but in April 2022, he paid an incredible $44 billion to acquire Twitter. Elon wanted to make the platform a center for open representation and free expression. However, it turned into a headache instead. Many users found his adjustments inconvenient, and the platform began to lose users. By December, things had gone from bad to worse. Elon had lost almost $100 billion of his personal wealth. Twitter, now known as X, was losing money, and Tesla's brand worth was dropping. The once powerful acquisition was looking like a $44 billion mistake. Elon's financial losses broke all previous records at the end of December, reaching an incredible $160 billion. The biggest loss of personal fortune in history was just the beginning of the downward spiral. The value of Tesla's stock fell further into early 2023, ending the year with a startling 65% decline. His personal life turned into a tabloid frenzy, public scrutiny increased, and it felt like every part of his life was being scrutinized to the fullest extent possible. This was a wake-up call as much as a financial crisis. For the first time, Elon started to think carefully about the greater issues in life, including subjects like faith and religion that he had previously dismissed.
I agree with the principles that Jesus advocated, and there's great wisdom in the teachings of Jesus, and I agree with those teachings. And things like turn the other cheek are very important, because as opposed to an eye for an eye leads everyone blind. So forgiveness, is important, and treating people as you would wish to be treated. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Very important.
His now famous conversation with the Babylon Bee, a conservative Christian humor podcast, was a result of his increasing openness. During that discussion, Elon expressed a startling respect for the teachings of Jesus. He discussed Christ's message on turning the other cheek and confessed that he had learned, often painfully, that it was better to stay out of pointless arguments. Elon also showed a hesitant interest in Christianity, thinking that if Jesus really did exist and save people like the Bible said, he might consider becoming a Christian. This honest moment turned out to be a crucial turning point in Elon's life, even if he didn't realize it at the time. A few weeks later, in early January 2024, Elon traveled to Las Vegas for a much-anticipated tech conference. He arrived a few days early, checked into a hotel room, and made plans for a peaceful weekend. But as the hours passed, restlessness took control. Elon decided to depart from his usual routine in an unusual way. He went out alone into the cool Nevada evening, heading for a small local church not too far from the hotel. As the congregation stood up to sing a hymn, Elon remained in his seat, appreciating the simplicity of the scene. When the music ended, a young man took the stage to share his personal testimony. He talked about reaching his lowest point and losing all he valued, only to find a new sense of excitement and purpose after committing his life to Christ. His story struck Elon like a lightning bolt. His own hardships were reflected in it, including the constant strain, the losses, and the loneliness under the spotlight. As the man finished, the audience exploded in applause with hands raised and voices praising God. Elon experienced an unexpected feeling at that very moment, a strong connection, as if God himself were communicating with him through that man's story. Tears ran down his cheeks as the congregation bowed their heads in prayer. After the service, Elon quietly went back to his hotel with a peace he couldn't explain. Even with all the chaos in his life, he felt calm, like maybe everything would turn out just fine. It was a sense of clarity that he couldn't shake, even as he returned to his usual routine. By July 2024, Elon had an interesting conversation with the frank psychologist and lifestyle analyst Jordan Peterson. The topic? The influence of Christianity on their life. During the conversation, Elon openly identified himself as a cultural Christian. He admitted that he wasn't convinced by all spiritual claims, but he had decided to live by the values and teachings. So, what do you think? Is this just another chapter in Elon Musk's incredible career, or is this his true turning point? Comment below.